It's Saturday night at Citywide Park in London, Ontario, and the Beefs are in a do-or-die semifinal game against the visiting Ottawa Sooners. The Sooners on their first possession of the game would see a big 67-yard catch and run from Mark Webb. The kick is good, and it's 6-0 Sooners. The Beefs' first drive toss up a pass. It's caught, but then squeaks out, and the Sooners turn over the ball. Sooners defense firing early in this one. The Sooners end their drive with a punt that results in a rouge, and the Beefs will go back on the offensive and see a healthy drive with Van Bell and Dyer running the ball, and then a nice connection with Nigel Morris. Sooners defense still firing would see a big sack from Ibrahim Hajjah on Chambers, and then we get a field goal attempt from the Beefs. Williamson goes wide, then Ottawa fumbles, and Williamson recovers. Let's go Beefs! Chambers would have a wide open man in the end zone until Keyshawn Upshaw-Tynes would have something to say about it with a pick. At the end of the quarter, it remains 7-0 for Ottawa. Second quarter, and the Beefs back on offense. We'd see a few more healthy runs from L.J. Dyer to march down to the red zone, where we would see Mr. Dyer with the first Beefs TD of the game. The kick is good, and it's 7-7. Ottawa with a healthy drive would try the QB sneaker, but we would have to call for the chain gang as the first down was unclear on the field. Here comes the stick crew, and nope, Beefs ball. The Beefs would go 2-out, and then we would get a huge punt block from the Sooners. We'd see a nice connection from Cowan to his target, and they would move the chains as well. The Sooners would end the drive on a punt, and the Beefs would go back to work. Chambers putting his arm to work would launch this one down the field. Beautiful pass, but then great defense from the Sooners. After an injury to Ethan Chambers, we would see Pinto enter the game and make a huge connection downfield to Mitchell Spence, followed by an L.J. Dyer TD, his second of the day. The kick is no good, and it's 13-7 for the Beefs. Here we see the Sooners putting the ball in the air, but here's the Beefs secondary shutting that effort right down. Last play of the half would see Cowan trying to keep the play alive, but the Beefs D shutting this play down as well. We're going to go into the half, 13-7. The third quarter would start with a few unsuccessful drives from both teams until the Beefs would punt this one away, but recover the ball. Beefs knocking on the door. Pinto would hand this one to Dyer. The kick is good, and it's 20-7 for the Beefs. Sooners back on O would line up for a punt, but a little trickery was afoot with a direct snap to Richard Graham, and the Sooners would move the chains. No score on the drive, but then the Sooners D would see a huge pick from Keyshawn Upshaw-Tynes to put them back on the goal line. Cowan would find his man on a laser of a pass, and the Sooners are back in the game. It's 21-14. The Beefs back to work, and then we see a 23-yard run from Dyer. During the drive, we'd flip into the fourth quarter, and the Beefs would put Williamson back to work for 3 points. Beefs with a 10-point lead. It's now 24-14. Fourth quarter, and the Beefs defense doing a great job of knocking down a pass. And then later, we would see a big run from Van Bell, and then Pinto turning on the afterburners for a first down. Later in the quarter, the Beefs would add a single and then march down the field to get within scoring distance, but the ball would come loose and the Sooners get another opportunity to try and put some points on the board. We would see an amazing catch from Nathan Coleman, and then Cohen would put the ball in the air, but the catch is bobbled, and Dylan Clark will grab this one and take it to the house. The kick is no good, and we have a 31-14 game. We would see the third QB for the Beefs step in, Mr. Ethan Reed. He'd hand this one off to number 48, Amasquita, and Amasquita would take this one to the house on a 44-yard run. It's 38-14 for the Beefs, and that is your final on the day. The Beefs head into next week to play St. Clair in the OFC Championship.